Hey folks, this is Rhykker, bringing you a Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls patch 2.4 Barbarian build guide. This is a Might of the Earth Leapquake Barbarian, and the build was created by Drac. You can find a link in the description below to this build's page on Diablo fans. Let's start by looking at the items. First, you'll want the 6 pieces of the Might of the Earth set, and that's because the core of this build involves jumping around and causing earthquakes and avalanches everywhere. The set bonuses will be reducing the cooldown on earthquake and avalanche, buffs us when we leap, and increases the damage of earthquake and avalanche. We want to combine that with the Blade of the Tribes, which makes Warcry and Threatening Shout cause an avalanche and an earthquake. And in our cube, we want the Loot Socks, because that will enable us to leap 3 times in rapid succession. Now all that is the basic gear you need to really make this build work. You can in fact even go without a Blade of the Tribes initially, but the setup that we'll show here is how to get the most out of this build in order to push really high up into the Greater Rift leaderboards. So on closer inspection, your shoulders, Might of the Earth, Strength, Vitality, All Resist, Cooldown Reduction. For your helm, Might of the Earth, Strength, Vitality, Critical Hit Chance. And I'll add here that on any piece of gear that you don't have All Resist, try to get a secondary resistance. Your ideal amulet will be a Hellfire amulet. You want physical damage, critical hit chance. Of course, strength is good too, but it won't be the optimum choice. The exact passive you get on the amulet doesn't matter, but we'll cover what 5 passives you want in total. You'll want one of those 5 passives to be on your amulet, and we'll get to the skills in just a bit. For your gloves, Might of the Earth, Strength, Vitality, Crit Chance, Crit Damage. For your armor, Might of the Earth, Strength, Vitality, All Resist. You want to put rubies in there. I forgot to mention you want a diamond in your helm. And as a secondary stat on this, you'd want reduces damage from ranged and melee attacks by 7%. For your bracers, Skullar's Salvation, Physical, Strength, Vitality, Critical Hit Chance. For your belt, Dread Iron, Strength, Vitality, Life percent, Life on Fury hit, Avalanche damage. The legendary property on this belt makes Ground Stomp cause an avalanche, but we don't actually use Ground Stomp in this build. Still, we want this belt because it increases the damage of avalanche by up to 200%. You'll also notice that instead of All Resist on this item, we opted for Life percent, and that's because it was calculated that you'll get your maximum toughness if you forego All Resist for Life percent on one of your items. In my case here, I did it on my chest piece instead of the belt, but you can make the substitution anywhere else. For your rings, you want Focus and Restraint. Your ideal stats, Crit Chance, Crit Damage, Cooldown Reduction. The cooldown reduction here is more important than another offensive stat, because without enough cooldown reduction, you'll find that for a couple seconds you might just be running around unable to do anything. For your pants, Strength, Vitality, All Resist, 2 rubies. For your boots, Strength, Vitality, All Resist, Ancient Spear damage. And for your weapon, percent damage, Strength, Life per Fury spent, and Earthquake damage. And of course, you want an emerald in there to increase your crit damage. In your cube, you want a Furnace, the Loot Socks, and the Band of Might. The Band of Might should be in effect at all times, which effectively gives you a huge toughness buff. For your gems, you want Esoteric Alteration to give you some more survivability, you want Bane of the Trapped for that extra damage, and you want the Bane of the Stricken to deal with those Rift Guardians. For your Paragon Points, you want to make sure you have a total of 25% movement speed, then dump everything into Strength. For offense, Cooldown Reduction, Critical Hit Chance, Crit Damage. For defense, All Resist, Armor, Life. And for utility, Area Damage, Resource Cost Reduction, Life on Hit. Onto our skills. First, we want Ancient Spear Boulder Toss. This costs a minimum of 25 Fury and spends all your Fury. We're using this for a couple reasons. First off, it will proc 1/2 of our Focus and Restraint set. Second, thanks to the Life per Fury spent that we're stacking, this will serve as a mini healing potion. And lastly, again, the 2-piece bonus of Might of the Earth reduces the cooldown of Earthquake, Avalanche, and Leap by 1 second for every 30 Fury you spend with an attack. So this will help us reset the cooldown on Leap. We ideally want to be leaping constantly. Next, we want Earthquake, Cave In. Next, we want Battle Rage, Bloodshed. This is a straight damage buff. Next, Leap, Death from Above. When we leap into a bunch of enemies, we don't want to be immediately killed, so death from above gives us that nice stun. Next, we want Threatening Shout Falter. This basically serves as a damage buff, and thanks to our Blade of the Tribes, it also causes an Avalanche and Earthquake. Warcry is similar, except it's a defensive buff instead of an offensive buff. As for our passives, Ruthless is a strong offensive passive. Earthen Might will couple well with Ancient Spear. Again, Ancient Spear spends all of our fury in the hopes of resetting Leap. Leap will enable us to cast Earthquake, and that'll now give us fury in order to Ancient Spear once again. Nerves of Steel is our free revive, which is essential for pushing the higher greater rifts. Animosity increases our fury generation and our max fury, and again, the more fury that we can stack, the more we get out of our Ancient Spear Boulder Toss. And the last passive that you want is Rampage. Again, a straight up damage buff. That wraps up this guide. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment letting me know what kind of Barbarian build you run with. Check out these other videos. And if you enjoyed this one, share with friends, leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe to join Rhyker's Raiders.
The Roderick hamburger. Yes, I would like fries with that.
To find out how you can get me to say something random at the end of my videos, check out my Patreon rewards.
Fury.